Hi, this is Kevin Edwards from Portland Community College. On behalf of the Central Analytics Standing Group, I'd like to present you with an example of analytics in action. At PCC, when we're preparing to do a weeding project at one of our campuses, we usually run an analysis to retrieve items that were added 10 years ago or more and haven't circulated in the past 5 years. This criteria is adjusted more or less depending on the size of the results and how much of a weed we would like to perform. For heavier weeds, we might loosen the criteria, and for lighter weeds, we might tighten them. Here's how you build the analysis. Create a new analysis in the physical items dimension. Under physical item details, I'm going to add number of items in repository and number of loans in-house plus not in-house. Add barcode, last loan date, life cycle, and statistics note 1, because this is the field where we migrated our use stats from our previous ILS. Under holding details, I'm going to add permanent call number. Under item creation date, item creation date. Under location, library name and location name. And under bibliographic details, I'm going to add title. Next, let's filter some of these elements. Because I don't want to look at deleted items, I'm going to filter life cycle to is not equal to deleted. Because we're only going to look at one of our campuses, and we're going to look at Cascade. I'm going to say is equal to Cascade. And under location, I'm going to filter this to is equal to just our main collection. Next, I'm going to use a little SQL. Because I usually don't remember the actual formula, but I do remember where I can find them, I searched the Alliance website for the tips and tricks SQL statements document here. And this is where I derive some of the formulas that I'll be using. Because we only want items that haven't loaned in the past 5 years, or haven't loaned at all, I'm going to use a formula on the last loan date element. I'm going to convert this to SQL. And this is the formula I'm going to use. So we have the timestamp add, it's based on the year. We have -5, so for the past 5 years. So it's going to be, and then we have this OR function so that we can add, it's either the results will match this, and that it'll be in the past 5 years, or the number of loans is equal to 0. Because I'm also only interested in items that were added 10 years ago or more, I'm going to use another SQL formula for the item creation date element. So I'm going to convert this to SQL, and then I'm going to paste in the formula. This is one of the formulas that I grabbed directly from that document, the Tips and Tricks SQL Statements document. Now, depending on the results, I may want to adjust these formulas by changing the numerical value in the SQL. For example, if I didn't get as many results as I would like, I could change the 10 to an 8 to look at items we've added 8 years ago or more. That will retrieve more items that way. Or in addition to that, I could change the 5 value here to a 2 in order to look at items that haven't loaned in the past 2 years. You get the idea. Next, I'm going to remove the following elements from display, although the filters below will still apply. I'm going to remove last loan date, life cycle, library name, location name, and item creation date. And finally, I'm going to sort the results by a permanent call number, sort ascending. That way the results will display in shelf order. Now let's look at the results. First, I'm going to edit the table by dragging and dropping the columns so that they appear in the order that I wish. Next, I'm going to edit the table in order to remove number of items from the results. It isn't useful in this table, but it will be useful in one of the next steps. And finally, I'm going to edit the table view properties by enabling alternate styling and repeat cell values. This will avoid any possibility of merge cells and how that might affect sorting in the future if I want to sort this in a different way or export to Excel. The other thing is it will automatically apply this color scheme that will make it a little easier to read across the rows. Finally, I want to add one last view. I want to add a performance tile. And this is going to be used to display the number of items that are in the results. This is how I will determine whether or not we've created enough results for the level of weed that we want to do. Now, depending on when you open this, the default may be one or more of your calculated measures. It'll just select one. Because we used more than one, you might have to come into here and make sure that you have number of items in repository selected, because the number of loans is not useful for our purposes. Now, lastly, I'm just going to change the title here. If I don't change it, it will be just display the saved name for the analysis, and it's probably unlikely that I'm going to name this analysis the same text that I would like to add here, which describes the criteria we've used. Since the results will continue to update over time, I can continue to return to the same analysis anytime we're considering a future weeding project. All I would need to do is adjust the filters for campus designation and those SQL formulas depending on how much of a weed we're interested in. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation and that it might inspire you for other ways to put analytics into action. If you have suggestions for other presentations like this one, please contact a member of the Central Analytics Standing Group. We'd love to hear from you.